Hello, this is Scotty McCoy. I'm the author of the Ultimate Friday the 13th Trivia book, and I am writing another book titled The Ultimate Slasher Movie Encyclopedia, and I am interviewing the cast and crew of the Friday the 13th franchise. And I currently have on the phone with me Stephen Williams, who played Creighton Duke in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Hi, Stephen. How you doing?
I'm doing better than most, Scotty. Not as good as some.
Well, that's good, as long as you're doing good. So the first question I have is not related to Friday the 13th, but I want to figure out a little bit, how did you get your start into acting?
Oh, just a stroke of bad luck, man. Just a stroke of bad luck. No, I actually started in Chicago as a model. I started as a model rather late. I had a buddy of mine who was I was actually working at a clothing store doing, selling women's apparel, and a lot of my clients were were models, or they were female ad agency executives, and they all suggested that I had the physique to be a model. So one day I said, to hell with it, quit my job. I hit the streets as a model, started making somewhat of a living. In the middle of that, somebody asked me to do a play. I had never acted before, but I said yes. You got to remember, this was the 60s, the 70s, high adventure. I said yes. I did this play called Slow Dance on the Killing Ground. I got great reviews. I'll always remember the final line in the review was, "We will surely see Stephen in theater again." And from that point on, I kept modeling and I started acting in Chicago. Now, as you know, or should know, Chicago has been always one of the greatest theater towns in the United States.
Absolutely.
Maybe on the planet. And I came up with guys like Joey Mantegna, Gary Sinise, and Malkovich, and Cusack, and, you name that Chicago crew during that 70s era. I was a part of that theater world. And it snowballed and snowballed and snowballed, and pretty soon Hollywood came to Chicago with Blues Brothers, with Cooley High, did a TV movie called Dummy with LeVar Burton and Paul Savino. And eventually I came to L.A. with Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers really brought me to Los Angeles. And I went back and forth for a couple of years, doing projects. And then I think it was about 1982, I said, to hell with it, I'm going to move to L.A. And I moved to L.A. And my favorite guy on the planet, Stephen J. Cannell, God rest his soul, kept me busy.
Awesome.
Right up until Jump Street, which is when the whole series kind of thing started.
That's so
Actually,
awesome.
it started with The Equalizer. I was one of the original cast members of The Equalizer. Me, Robert Woodward, and Robert Lansing. Edward Woodward and Robert Lansing were the three initial regulars in The Equalizer. And that's how it all started. It just sort of started on some fluke. I said yes to something, and bam,
Awesome.
the almighty maker has given me the talent to handle all this shit that's been thrown at me.
That's so cool. So, what was your audition like for Jason Goes to Hell?
I don't believe I auditioned for that role. When my manager called me and told me that, no, it was a meeting. I was offered the role.
Okay.
It was almost like I was offered the role. I'm not sure if I auditioned for the role or if they brought me in for a meeting and talked to me, because I had a lot of stuff under my belt even. At that point, I had a lot of theater under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember one thing about it. I do remember that the character was a bounty hunter, and that was during an era, and that I was in the cowboy boots and cowboy hats, man. That was my thing, jeans, cowboy boots, and cowboy hats. And they had this whole Columbo. You remember the TV series Columbo?
Yes.
The little detective, the little, dumpy, kind of scruffy guy.
Yeah.
They had that in mind. And I said to them, I actually had the balls to say to them, I don't even know if they would remember, if Adam or whoever else was in the casting session. I said, okay, cool, I will do this, but I got to do it as a cowboy. I actually put like a condition on doing the role. Like I had position to lay out a condition of some sort. But I said, yeah, I like this, but I want to do it as a cowboy, And I had this wonderful, I was already wearing cowboy hats, and I was wearing this Australian Outback coat, the coat that the cowboys wear, the Australian Outback coat, yeah. I said, if I can dress in this costume, I'll do the role. They said, okay, cool.
That's
And
awesome.
to this day, I'm still mad that I couldn't get that hat from Wardrobe. If you remember the character Creighton Duke,
Yes, I
wanted
do.
that cowboy hat so bad. Never got it.
I love Jason
know.
Goes to Hell, so I definitely remember your character. Your character was one of the few in the franchise that sticks out to people.
Oh, how cute! How cool! Yeah, but that was it. I think they offered it to me, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." But let me
Awesome.
wear this cowboy hat. I wanted to do the costuming, and they did.
Awesome. So, how was Adam Marcus as a director?
It was fabulous, man. You got to remember too that this was early on. It was still very early on in my job history. I like to call it. I don't like to call what I've had a career. Denzel has a career. Samuel Jackson and Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, they had careers. But in my job history, it was very early on. So everything was very exciting to me.
Okay.
It was very new. It was very exciting. It was challenging. And I just enjoyed the hell out of it. And Adam was terrific. I think it was one of his earliest things too.
Yep.
Because if I remember, he was a very young man when we did this. So it was almost like just a bunch of young kids playing, having a good time.
Getting paid to do it.
Exactly.
So, what was the best part about filming Jason Goes to Hell, and what was the worst?
I think the best part was always, for me, the paycheck. Okay? It's still the best part. Doesn't get any better than the check cleared.
Exactly.
Okay? Yeah, really. That's we do this for a living. Let's face it, we do this for a living.
Yep.
I don't care how many artists will tell you about the artistry and da-da-da. And no, motherfucker, you doing this to get paid, okay? You doing this to pay your rent, all right?
That is true.
Yeah, true. And there was no worst part. There was really no worst part. It was a joy for me. You got to remember again, it was new for me. I'm in Hollywood. I'm being paid to dress up and pretend.
Right.
So there was really no worst part. I think if I really had to name a worst part, Adam said it once in an interview, in one of his interviews for that book,
Crystal Lake Memories?
Yeah, Crystal Lake Memories, right. He said Stephen was a partier. He said Stephen would party so damn hard, and he was telling the truth that I would fall asleep in between takes, But he said the nicest thing about me that's ever been said about me in my entire work history, he said, but I've never seen an actor come in more prepared, who knew more about his character. He said he was there every moment. When we needed him, bam, all you had to do was say action, and the man was right on.
That's
so
awesome.
I think if anything was difficult for me, it was the fact that I had to work while I was partying as hard as I was. That was probably the most difficult, was staying awake during my working hours.
Right. So, what was it like filming your death scene, and how was it prepped and created?
Yeah, that I didn't like. I really, really didn't want to die. I wanted to be one of the survivors, especially being a brother. They always kill the brother off. They always kill the brother off first, okay? So I was like, okay, I do get to last until toward the end, but I thought Creighton Duke would be a badass. And that character has been touted as one of the characters in the whole franchise, one of the only characters that really had some fight in him,
Of course.
some fight back. Yeah, some go get this son of a bitch. Everybody else was scared of him, was being killed by him. At least Creighton Duke fought back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was really, really cool because there was one scene, and I don't know if I did it. I can't even remember if I did it. But while he was cracking my back, squeezing me to death, I wanted to kiss him right in the mouth and tell him I'll see you in hell. And I think I did one take where I kissed him in the mouth, but they didn't leave it in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was, you accept these things. You accept that, hey, your character's got to die. That's that.
Right.
It was no different really than any other scene.
Right. So did they use any prosthetics or anything for your back, or was it just you there with sound effects?
The only part, he actually just grabs me and bear hugs me, and pow, snaps my back. Tosses me to the side.
Sounds good.
There was one prosthetic during the movie where he throws me, I fall down a shaft, and this rebar goes straight through my legs.
Oh.
Marcus tells a story about that too.
Okay.
about the costume girls trying to get this rebar on me. They had to take my jeans off, and I I wasn't wearing any underclothes. And and Mark is telling this story about these two girls just come screaming out of the dressing room.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It was. When I read it, it was like hilarious. Hilarious.
So what was the most...
I practically don't even remember it even, Scotty. That's how hard I was partying. We did back then, you know?
Right. So what was the most memorable moment in filming Jason Goes to Hell?
I don't know. So many memorable moments. I mean, each one of my scenes, I just love stuff. I love the opening. I absolutely love the opening. You know, and this was like after the movie was put together. It's like almost the most memorable moment to me in the movie, not necessarily what happened during shooting.
Right.
Was that opening when they blow? You know, they just blow him to hell at that opening.
Right.
And then you cut to me. And the actor says, "We got him! We got him! We finally got him!" And they cut to me with a cigar in my mouth and that beautiful cowboy hat on, and I go, "I don't think so." You know, I love that scene.
That is great.
Love that scene.
That is a great scene.
Yeah, there was just so much other stuff. You know, a lot of the kill scene where he kills me. It was just good stuff between actors. I did have one scene where I almost snapped another actor's neck. He slapped the shit out of me. I forget the guy that was playing the sheriff.
Yes.
He got too enthusiastic. He slapped the shit out of me in a scene, which worked, but he didn't tell me he was going to slap me. And he actually slapped me for real.
Oh, wow.
You know? And to this day, I'm thinking, if I run across, he'd be an old man now, so I wouldn't hurt him. Like I'm not an old man. Like I'm an old man now too. But that day, I really wanted to fuck him up. I really did. I thought, okay, we acting, we cool. But I just let him know if you're gonna do something like that to another actor, you know, let him know first.
Exactly.
You know, let him know. Listen, why don't we play it this way? Why don't we play it as real as we can? Cool. I would have went along. Man slapped me without me knowing it. Now and I was tied up at the time. I think it's the only reason I didn't kill him.
Oh.
Because they had my hands tied behind my back at the time. He's the sheriff was throwing me out of town or something.
That's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah, so I remember that, you know. And of course the women. I always remember the women. We had beautiful women. Erin Gray I fell in love with, and Carrie, I think Carrie somebody was the other young lady's name that owned. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember liking to come to set every day just so I could talk to him and see him.
So what was it like working with Kane Hodder?
Oh, Kane, wonderful. Just, you know, it got more beautiful after. You know, working with Kane is like working with any other professional. Right. Total professional, dynamite. But we also did afterwards, we've done a couple of these conventions. You know, horror conventions.
Right.
Fan conventions. We did a couple of those together. We've been on the same trips and a couple of appearances together. And he is just the nicest man.
That's great.
I always love it when I see Kane. We went on one. I remember going on one. And people didn't know who was under the mask, but it was one involving kids at the event. And the kids they went crazy for Kane, you know? Especially
Exactly.
to know who was under that mask. And when Kane came out from under the mask, this is the guy who plays Jason. The kids just absolutely loved him.
That's great.
And so do I. He stands out to me as a good human being, as a good, pleasant, nice man. You know, that's how I consider Kane Hodder. He's just one of the nicest actors, nicest people I've ever met.
Right. So, what was the environment like on set?
Oh, it was again professional and fun. Professional and fun. Awesome. And again, all this stuff was everything was new to me. Everything was new and fun to me. Okay. And everything was an adventure.
Awesome.
For me on set. I cannot remember any conflicts. Okay. I cannot remember any unpleasantries on that set. You know?
That's great.
And I attribute, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. I attribute a lot of it to me. I'm fun on a set.
Right.
And I'm a nice guy on a set.
Yes.
And I'm a no-nonsense guy when it comes to assholes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you hear a lot of story about assholes on the set and mean actors or people who are being divas or, throwing their power around or something.
Right.
And because way I came into acting, Scott. Like I said, I came in on a fluke. You know, I've never reached for a brass ring. I've never had an acting lesson in my life.
Right.
It's just been a job, and a wonderful job for me. So I would brook no nonsense.
I agree.
You know, if I ran into somebody who was being a jerk or being an asshole, I let them know, stop it, because I can be a bigger jerk and a bigger asshole, and I really don't give a fuck about this job.
I agree.
I mean, that was sort of my attitude. Everybody else had I don't know, maybe a more serious approach. But it wasn't a life and death situation to me. It wasn't a political situation going on. It was just a guy having a good time doing something that he could do.
Yes.
And if you turned out to be a jerk, you were in danger.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
I can be a much bigger jerk, and I do not care about getting fired. I do not care about making anybody mad.
Right.
I did not care about being on anybody's blacklist. So I got along with everybody.
Yeah, that's great. So the last question I got for you is, do you have any future projects that you would like the readers to know about?
Oh, well, right now I am in the middle of, it just started running on Showtime. There's a series called The Shy.
Okay.
Have you seen The Shy?
No, I haven't.
Heard about it?
I heard of it, but I don't have Showtime, so I never saw it.
Oh, you got to check it out.
Okay.
Man. It's created by Lena Waite, the first African-American woman to win an Emmy for comedy writing. Common, the rap star / actor,
right,
is one of the executive producers. And Showtime is really hot on it. It's getting great reviews.
Awesome.
And my role is awesome. My role in The Shy is sort of like my role in The X-Files.
Okay.
I played Mr. X in The X-Files.
Yes.
This mystery guy. Or my role in The Leftovers. It's sort of a mysterious character, and then it accumulates into a nice little,
right,
climactic ending for the season. I don't know if my character is going to be ended with the season, but Showtime bought 10 of them. So that's what I'd like for my fans. If I've got fans out there, that's what I'd like for them to tune into now.
Awesome.
Tune into The Shy.
Sounds good.
Showtime, Sunday nights.
Sounds good. And I know my book will be out in a couple years, so I'll put this. I'm making like a little sneak peek. So I'm going to be I'll put the last question about your project, The Shy. I'll put that in the sneak peek, so anybody that listens to my review on my fan pages will be able to tune in.
Dynamite. And you can also tell them, hell, ain't no telling. My next project could be right later on this afternoon.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how it works in this business.
Exactly. Well, I thank you so much for your time.
Hey, my pleasure, Scotty. My pleasure. Thank you for including me.
Not a problem.
And feel free to call back, man. If you think of anything else you want to ask or something you want to add or subtract, feel free.
Sounds good. Okay. I will definitely take you up on that offer.
All right.
Thank you. You have a nice day.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.